Our budget, as most of you know, serves as a guide for us, a roadmap for our expenditures and revenues in Greene County during the course of each fiscal year. It can be amended through a public process at any point during the year, subject to public hearing obligations. It's developed using conservative estimates for overall economic growth, and we base it on the leading economic indicators and trends at the time of the development of the budget. Our budget in Greene reflects a culmination of the efforts of county staff, our constitutional officers, and it is done under the guidance and direction of the Board of Supervisors. We have a continued commitment to fiscal responsibility, and that's reflected at the staff level. As for the process, for fiscal year 2016, we follow a three-tiered process generally in local government, where staff level work begins preparing the annual financial statements from the prior year each summer, while managing the county's approved current budget, and then developing proposed revenue and expenditure levels for the following year to be presented to the Board of Supervisors for approval. And that's where we are at this point in the season. We start in February and March time frame each year, holding a series of public budget workshops with staff, local and regional agencies, and other interested parties to hear comments and refine the priorities moving into the following for the proposed budget year. The fiscal year begins July 1st, ends June 30th of each year. Then in March and April, county budget and tax rate is advertised in the local newspaper and on the county's website and made available for review in the county office per state code section 15.2.25.06. Budget priorities. Continued funding and support of county core services is the biggest obligation, the biggest priority for the Board of Supervisors and staff of Greene County. Schools, law enforcement, emergency services, community economic development, recreation, parks, facilities, and programming, fire and rescue organizations, social services, transportation, and environmental protection are all big priorities for the county, need to be balanced as such with the funding we have each year. We will continue to pledge support for our local and regional partners, Jefferson-Madison Regional Library, Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission, JABA, and many other regional agencies provide services on behalf of the county. We make contributions to those each year. We'll focus on utilizing better technology for information and services to our residents and businesses. That's the biggest thing that I've heard this year, is that our citizens and business representatives would like to be able to use the county website in a much more efficient way to transact business and find better information with better organization from Greene County. And we'll also have a renewed focus on enforcement of our current county regulations and state mandates in a fair and equitable manner. Our total assessed valuation countywide decreased by about 1% during the last 2-year assessments process. So our real estate tax rate is proposed to be 75 cents per $100 of assessed value in fiscal year 2016. That's and from a practical standpoint, that's an increase of 3 cents, from 72 cents per 100 to 75 cents. Impact is roughly $45 to $50 on a $150 home. Funds for core government services, public schools, infrastructure, and increased costs of correctional and EMS services are also at hand for us, which is the biggest reason why these 3 pennies are proposed to be added to the tax rate. Personal property tax remains $5 per 100 assessed values. That's not going to change, nor the other tax rates that the county holds currently in FY15. So, our total county budget for fiscal year 16 is proposed to increase by 1.5%. That's $55,586,527 in the current year to $56,443,421 in the coming fiscal year, which begins July 1st. We are proposing a 1.03 decrease in local expenditures. Roughly $28 million will decrease as it's proposed to $27.8 million in FY 2016. This entails some spending cuts that the staff and the board worked on, as I mentioned earlier, this spring, including cuts to the county administration budget, many constitutional offices, including the sheriff's office, treasurer's office, and the county clerk's office, and many of our county departments, of which there are more than 10 who will be looking at cuts to their budgets in the coming year. Marginal increase in school funding of about 3% to cover some sorely needed staff level positions to keep up with enrollment as it stands now in the county and the growth that's happening countywide. Our debt payment obligation in fiscal year 2016 will decrease by about 10%, about $3.2 million to $2.8 million in FY 2016. And that's due to a refinancing of current debt that was done in the current fiscal year. Thanks to Tracy Morris, our Finance Director and Deputy County Administrator, for handling that refinancing. That's going to save the county a lot of money in the short term, give us some breathing room until perhaps the economy might improve, to give us more options for revenues going forward. So to wrap up, Mr. Chairman, again, this year our budget reflects the conservative estimates and values that we hold at the staff level for expenses and revenues. We want to continue proactive leadership, efficiency, and invite citizen engagement in the process along the way. Responsible revenue enhancements will be considered through consumer-based taxes and fees going forward. We will consider as many federal, state, and local grant opportunities as possible to take some of the pressure off of our revenue streams. We'll make improvements to our core county infrastructure and technology in fiscal year 16, including broadband service, water resources, and public safety radio communications. We'll also have continued economic development efforts and responsible environmental protection practices as we have in the current year. So overall, we'll make it a priority at the staff level to provide accountable customer service and fair and equitable ordinance enforcement across all of our agencies. So that's all I have for now, Mr. Chairman. That's an overview of where we're headed in fiscal year 2016. I hope that gives us a good framework moving forward. Thank you, sir.